What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to make $17 an hour or more online. Now, there are millions of people doing it every single day and making a hell of a lot more than $17 an hour. And there are so many different ways that you could do it. You might have a special skill or talent that you don't even know that you could monetize yet. So in this video, I'm going to go down the top 10, or at least what I think are the top 10 ways to make money online, and hopefully one or two of them will stand out to you and you'll give it a shot. Guys, make sure to stick to the end, because the last 3 or 4 of the 10 that I'm going to go over is where you really make the big bucks. I'm talking about 6 figures a year, hundreds and thousands of dollars, but that is something that's going to be more of a full-time job, not just these side gigs or freelance work. All right, so we're not going to waste any time. The very first one on the list is Etsy. If you have any kind of talent making a certain product, whether it be physical or digital, you could easily create an Etsy store for free and start selling it online. Every single store that you see is some kind of artist who had an idea or a vision and started putting their products up online, and a lot of them are very successful. This person selling, looks like picture frames. This person makes heart-shaped pocketbooks. We got some candles. It looks like this is knitting or crocheting blankets. There's a million different things that you can make online and then sell right from Etsy. And if you're wondering how much does the average Etsy store make, well, this could at least give us some insight. At the end of the day, someone on Etsy is characterized as an artist. So how much can a craft and fine artist make? Median salary, I know this is dated itself now, 2020, but it came in at $49,000 per year, or $23 an hour, over $23 an hour. Little side note too, me and my girlfriend tried to sell cookie cutters online. We had a 3D printer, which is actually up there in the corner, and we would make these little 3D printed designs of different cookie cutter shapes. I really wouldn't say I'm very artistic, and we were able to throw that together on Etsy, start making maybe a dozen sales a week. So I'm sure there's plenty of people who are much more creative than me watching this video right now. So take whatever that creativity is and you can easily monetize it on Etsy. Now, moving right along to the next thing, maybe you're not that creative, but you do have certain skill sets that people will pay for. Well, you may or may not have heard of these two places, Fiverr and Upwork. So this is the homepage of Fiverr. If you have any of these skills, we got WordPress, logo design, voiceover, video explainer, social media. There's so many different skills out there. Here we go, explore the marketplace. If you have any of these types of skills, you could easily sell those services on Fiverr. I know a huge thing is video editing. I do all my own video editing, but there are tons of people who don't know how to edit videos. And there are video editors on Fiverr and Upwork making money right now doing that. Maybe you're a coder and you want to do some freelance work. Again, Fiverr and Upwork. And I could go over a million different other services that you could do on these two platforms, but we don't have that kind of time for this video. But let's jump into the numbers. How much are people making on these platforms? So right here, this is right from Upwork. I know we just looked at Fiverr, but now we're in Upwork. How much money are people making? You can see, according to, I know it's dating itself now, 2020 freelance research data, freelancers in the United States earn an average of $20 an hour. Freelancers working on web, mobile development, marketing, legal, accounting, and other skilled services earn $28 an hour on average. So if you're any kind of freelancer, jump onto Fiverr and Upwork and you can make money there. Everything I'm talking about, I'm not sponsored by any of it. This is my own research or my own experience, what has worked for me or what I know has worked for other people. Moving on to the very next thing, maybe you're not creative, maybe you don't have a certain skill set you could sell, but you still want to sell some products. The next thing on the list is Shopify. So here we go, Shopify. It's very cheap to sign up. I think it's $30 a month. I tried it. I personally, my store wasn't successful, but there are plenty of people that are much more successful at it than me. Now, there are many different ways that you could utilize Shopify. What a lot of people do, and you'll find a bunch of videos on it, is they'll drop ship certain products, or maybe they'll buy in bulk a whole bunch of products and then sell it online, or maybe something digital as well that you could sell on Shopify. But let's check out the statistics. How much money are Shopify owners making each year? So here's a good page I was able to find for the statistics. So it's going to be a little different. We're not necessarily looking at how much they're making per hour, but instead, how much are they making per customer? And it looks like the average report was $72 per customer for Shopify. Again, it's dating itself, but you can see this chart right here kind of sums it up. The worst 10% are maybe making $33 per customer. Meanwhile, the best 10% are making $226. And then the average is 72. So if you want to know how does that relate to someone making $17 an hour, and how many sales would you have to make $35,360, that's 17 times 40 times 365. You'd have to make 491 sales in a year. That may sound like a lot, but if you break it down by week, that's only 10 sales a week. If you have a successful Shopify store, 10 sales a week is nothing. You could easily do that. And now is another good point to put in a little side note. Don't think this is something where you roll out of bed, open up the computer, and boom, you're making $17 an hour. Everything I am showing you, you actually need to commit time to, whether it be your full-time job or a part-time job. Part-time jobs, you still need to work maybe 10, 20, 30 hours a week at it. So don't think this is for the lazy where they just want to work 3 hours a week and be able to make $30,000+ a year. That doesn't exist, okay? You actually need to put time and effort into it to see proper results. So the next thing I'm going to show you is something you're able to leverage Etsy, Shopify, Upwork, and Fiverr all into one, a print-on-demand website. So this is Printful. There's plenty of other print-on-demands. I actually tried Printful, which I made a couple of sales on. Again, dabbling in it. Really wasn't my forte with the whole online thing, but there are plenty of people who do it and make a lot more money. I'm just providing you the information right now. But essentially, you'll see a lot of people make these t-shirt businesses. So another company I think is Teespring or something along that nature. Pretty much you have these print-on-demand websites that will help you fulfill all these orders. So you could crank out 100 different designs or 1,000 different designs, post it on Etsy or Shopify. And if you're someone who's not that creative, you could use Fiverr or Upwork to make these designs for you, hire people, outsource that work to make designs, then you upload it to these shirts, put that on your Etsy store or a Shopify website, and then when people buy it, you don't even have to deal with the product. You have places like Printful or Teespring. They have a fulfillment center that's doing all that work for you. Essentially, all you're doing is the marketing for it. And I had this statistic somewhere, but I think it's like between $6 to $9 per shirt the average person is making, and that's $9 per profit. So let's say you're able to do that. Then if we were to do the math, you're looking at about 75, well, I guess just under 76 orders a week. That is a little bit higher volume. I will admit these print-on-demand websites are a little bit more tricky than if you were to sell your own product on Etsy or something on Shopify. When you start getting a third party starting to fulfill your orders, you need to be looking at higher volumes. But the beauty about that is you're not going to experience much growing pains. It doesn't matter if you have 10 items or 10,000 items. You could create as many items as possible and put them up on your website. And hopefully that will roll in more sales. The more items, the more exposure, which should equal more sales. All right, now the next one is near and dear to my heart, and it has been working for me for the past year, and that is YouTube. You knew I was going to throw that out there, but if you have something that you are passionate about, you could easily monetize it on YouTube. You could start making videos and get paid for that, not just from ad revenue, but a whole bunch of other places as well. But for this example, we're going to say YouTube is just for ad revenue. There are people that are making a couple $1,000s a month or even a couple $1,000s a day, depending on how big your channel could get. So with this example, I could actually talk from experience, and I'm probably putting in maybe 5 to 6 hours a week worth of work into my YouTube channel. So it's very simple to make more than $17 an hour. With the YouTube channel, you can actually check out my video. I just went over how much 1 million views gets you because I recently hit that 1 million view mark. So you can check that video out to see exactly how much you can make on YouTube. Be a very lucrative business for a lot of different people. But moving on to the next thing, which is also something that is near and dear to my heart because it is working for me as well, and that is Patreon. So Patreon, if you are someone on social media, maybe it's not YouTube, but maybe you're on Instagram or TikTok, you name it, you could then have Patreon where you could provide something else more. No, it's not an OnlyFans page, even though I bet people use it for that, but you could sell premium content. Maybe you could give pre-releases, or maybe you could even give some kind of product or service, maybe coaching. I know a lot of people on YouTube, at least, will use Patreon for coaching. Say if it's someone in the finance world, maybe they'll say, join my Patreon, and then you pay whatever, $100 a month, and then we could have one-on-one coaching. The way I use it is I actually sell my portfolio trackers that I make, which I'm sure if you're watching this, there's a good chance you have seen my portfolio tracker videos. And here's all of my portfolio trackers right here. And the only way to access this is if you were to subscribe to my Patreon, and then you get access to all my portfolio trackers. And it has been working for over a year for me. Almost every single day I'll get another couple of sales just so people could download my portfolio trackers. There's honestly so much more that you could do with Patreon. That is definitely a great way for you to make, say, $17 an hour, or even better, something called passive income. All right, now we're gonna be getting into the bigger things, not so much freelance. Maybe you will be hired from someone, but it's something that you could do remote and from your computer. And the very first one is an online sales representative. So on average, and this is the national average, sales representatives are making $42,000 a year. You can see on the lower end it's 21, and on the higher end it is 92,000. That 42,000 is higher than that $17 an hour because we did the math before. $17 an hour is $35,000 a year. But I know there are plenty of people doing online sales making a hell of a lot more than $42,000 a year, and a lot more than $90,000 a year. You can easily get to 6 figures or more. Obviously that depends on what you're selling though, and how good of a sales rep you are. But the next one, you may or may not have heard of this term before, but it pays very well, and that is a copywriter. So the average salary for a copywriter is $53,000 a year. You may be wondering, what is a copywriter? Well, pretty much a copywriter, there's an article, I guess I'll post it below so you can check it out if this is something you're interested in. But any kind of advertisement, obviously there are words to that advertisement. So whether it be a billboard, something online, you name it, in a magazine, those words were created by a copywriter. Whatever that sentence or phrase or paragraph is, was made by a copywriter, and copywriters get paid a decent amount of money to do that, and plenty of them are making this money from the comfort of their home on their computer. All right, now next on the list we have lead generation. So maybe you're not the best with sales, but you are good at finding or building up leads, and that pays $61,000 a year on average. On the high end, we're looking at 6 figures. High end here on Glassdoor is $120,000 a year. Again, this may depend on what company you work for, exactly what kind of leads you're generating, but there are plenty of different outlets. I had a job where I was generating leads from Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, and it has made me a decent amount of money. There are people that make full-on careers out of this, and again, make a very good pay each and every year. Now the last one on the list is website creator. So if you know how to build websites, you could make some serious bank. So this is definitely way out of the realm of $17 an hour. There are people that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year simply from creating websites, and of course that is something that you do online. And you can easily do it from the comfort of your home. If you were to just research a little bit, the amount of money that some people charge, more than $10,000 for a website. But don't think it just stops at that $10,000. I know there are some websites that small business owners pay $30, $40, $50, even $60,000 just for it to be built. And then on top of that, it needs to be maintained. So you kind of get that 2-in-1 action. Not only did you build a website for someone and maybe make 50 grand, but then now you're maintaining it, and each month they're paying you. So now each month you are having that added income on top of building other people's websites as well. So I'd say building websites, if you have that kind of skill, you better monetize it, because it's got to be one of the best ways that you can make money right now, because everyone needs a website. It doesn't matter what kind of business you are. If you are not on the internet and if you don't have a good website that's good for not just desktops, but then also for mobile phones, you're not going to make it probably in the next 5 or 10 years. That is the top 10 ways to make money online, at least top 10 ways I think you can make money online. And if you like making money, subscribing to my channel might be a good idea for you, because I am posting videos about the stock market, cryptocurrencies, and how to make money in general. But guys, as always, I will see you in the next one.